The thing about stablecoins is that they're designed to be stable. When all else fails in your crypto market, $1 should equal $1. That is, until it doesn't. Like if your Do Kwon and your UST collapses by pegging your currency to an overleveraged crypto, or until the SEC gets involved and brings instability into the space. Crypto staking is also in the sights of the government as rumors circle about Circle's USDC. Is Coinbase ready for a battle? And Senator Cruz may be onto something as he proposes vending machines in the Capitol building that take crypto for payment. We like snacks and we like you. So thanks for joining us for our Stablecoin Crackdown, episode number 668 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
It's a crackdown.
So don't you back down.
Because it's a smackdown.
So put your crack down.
We're not doing crack.
Don't be smoking crack around.
It's a crack down. It's not a crack down there.
It's a touchdown.
It's not in your crack down there.
Destiny.
Hey, welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious and the crypto serious. And how about those Chiefs?
Yes, and notice the colors of the Bad Crypto Podcast are black and red and white, which is pretty convenient whenever we win Super Bowls.
Well, there's no yellow.
We're not winning Super Bowls. However, I took my son to the Super Bowl, and it was awesome. It was a pretty good time. And that happened. And now let's talk about some crypto things that have happening.
Are you worried that we're going to offend Eagles fans now? Is that the problem?
No, not really. I think most people probably tune into the show to not hear about sports ball. Yay, sports! Ooh, I like sports ball.
I want to say this. I watch because you're a fan and because Erin's a fan, and we went to a party to watch and she was all decked out in the stuff with the little face tattoos of Chiefs and yelling and it was a good time. But I did kind of watch on the periphery the commercials, and I got to say I have never seen so many celebrities. I'm thinking like a 5 to 10x the number of celebrities and commercials than I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. It was just one after another, and it wasn't just a celebrity in commercials. Like they would stack them, so you'd see 4 or 5, in one brand. Like companies spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of the Super Bowl commercials. I didn't see the. Actually, I haven't even seen the full televised version of the Super Bowl yet. But one thing that struck me as kind of funny was 113 million people watched it live, apparently. And then they said like 190 million people, 194 million people total watched it, including streaming or whatever, which is pretty high. And then Mr. Beast was like, what? He goes, we were going to do this Super Bowl ad, but then it was $7 million. And he was like, if you want to reach 100 million plus people, just let me know. Because he's got like 140 million subscribers or something.
Right.
Imagine, like seriously, and think about the amount of people who watch most. Like you see the amount of likes and engagement and views on his. Like, dude, the age of the content creator and getting huge sponsorship dollars. One thing was really cool was the podcast. It is cool is the podcast with Jason Kelsey of the Eagles and Travis Kelsey of the Chiefs. They're brothers. They have a show called New Heights. And dude, they were the top 5 sports podcasts in all of the land. Now they're in the top 5 of all podcasts across the world.
Have they done a post game show?
No, they did. It's really good. I watched it today. But what was interesting to me is the amount of sponsors, the dollars that's coming in there. Like I saw Visa and Fireball whiskey and a bunch of other like really good. If they're the top 5 podcasts in the world, which Bad Crypto is not, they're making big dollars on sponsorships.
We're also not the bottom 5, so
it's true.
It could always be worse. And speaking of dollars, let's go ahead and talk stablecoins in the news. Time stamp. It is February the 16th, 2023, 2:13 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. The crypto market cap $1.177 trillion. Bitcoin has hit over 25,000, currently at 24,921. Ethereum back over 1,700, 1,718. BNB 321. XRP 40 cents. Cardano 41 cents. Polygon $1.45, and Dogecoin flirting with a dime again at 9 cents.
And there's been some big winners again popping up on this thing. Floki, which we thought always shitcoin kind of thing. Well, Floki is up 103% in the last week, which is a lot when you're talking about a coin worth 0.00006 now, which is crazy to kind of see that. BitGet token, I don't even know what the BGB is. That's like nearly 50 cents. That's up 100%. Another one, Mina Protocol. Remember, we talked about this. We had a guy on talking about Mina Protocol
a few weeks ago.
Last week, again, up 37%. I just want to say, like, if you look at this thing and you see like what Mina Protocol did, which, you know, I don't have a big investment in them. We're not financial advisors. Clearly, we don't tell you what to do or how to look at your money. But if you think about it, dude, it was at like 40 cents whenever we talked about it, and now it's at $1.13. So it's like, just pay attention. You check it out with your own heart and go, is this valuable? Is this interesting? Is people going to want zero knowledge proof type of stuff, right? Zero proof knowledge. Is this interesting? Take a look at it. We bring you good stuff. We don't tell you what to buy, but we give you enough information to go look for yourself.
I didn't buy any. I didn't buy any Mina. Did you?
I don't know what you mean.
I didn't get any. But in that same trend, I'm watching AI-based tokens, which is why I remain bullish on Altered State Machine, not financial advice. We're both early investors in it, and I think that once they roll out these brains that are NFTs that are going to power these games and these characters in these games, I think people might start paying attention. But then again, it could go to zero, just like anything else in crypto.
Never know.
Got to be smart. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. There's this Twitter account called Coinfessions. And if you don't follow it, it's a very sobering account because people go to Coinfessions and they submit these anonymous,
the worst shit, the saddest stories you've ever heard.
In fact, let me go ahead. I'm just going to pull it up right now and pull up. Let's just see the latest sad stuff. Here it is. At Coinfessions is the official account, and they post some of what came in. I left a Web3 startup a year ago where I had stake in as the first engineering hire. The stake is now worth $500K and will probably rise to $5 million soon. I get nothing. I will forever regret leaving.
Whoops. And then you read the ones where like people are like, oh, you know, my dad gave me X amount of dollars to invest in him and I've lost it all. Or I took all of my savings and invested it and my wife doesn't know yet. Or like the wife did all the investing and the husband doesn't know. It's just like sad shit happens on there.
Yeah, it does. So beware and be wise with your money. So the news, El Salvador, which of course was the first nation state to say that they would accept Bitcoin as a legal currency, both for buying and selling of goods. So not just their El Salvadorian currency, but also Bitcoin. Now they're opening a Bitcoin embassy in Texas.
Yeah. So, and the reason is El Salvador and the state of Texas, they had a commercial exchange of almost $1.3 billion. I mean, when you're looking at that. And so how much of that is remittance fees? How much of that is immigrants coming into Texas and then trying to send money back to their families that's still in El Salvador? And they're doing it with crypto. So imagine that, because if you're using crypto, in a lot of cases, you're not going to have nearly amount of fees. Like if you try to send $100 to somebody and they're going to take, I don't even know, 20-30% of the fees sometimes with Western Union or whoever. But with crypto, I mean, sometimes you can send somebody a bunch of Bitcoin worth hundreds and thousands or not millions of dollars, and your fees being just a couple of dollars in some cases, sometimes pennies. And so the fact that these countries, El Salvador and Texas is not a country, but that's debatable. They are kind of its own little world.
It might be again one day. Who knows?
It might be again someday, but that's just another milestone in the adoption of Bitcoin, which I think is interesting.
Yep. So they have a Swiss embassy already, and now they're looking at having one in Texas. So the lead story for this week is all about what's happening in the stablecoin space, and now there's rumors that are out there. I saw a tweet first saying it was fact, and then they're like, "Oh, slow down, it's not necessarily fact." But after what the government has done with BUSD, what I guess Binance is participating in somehow depegging from, I don't understand it all yet. All I know is that the SEC is saying that they will soon issue an enforcement notice to Circle over the USDC coin. They've already sent one to Paxos, and Gary Gensler is saying that stablecoins could be defined as securities.
Dude, it's one of those things where, because what I read about this was that Circle was using some of the funds that came in and were investing in US Treasury bonds, right? Which would seem to make that stable coin more stable than most, because it's tied, in theory, in the eyes of the government, they're tying it to the government dollar, right? They're tying it to the US dollar if they're investing in T-bills and whatever. But they're saying, since you're investing in T-bills, which is a security, that makes you a security, so you can't do anything. Now, in our mind, my mind personally, I've always thought USDC was the more stable coin of the stable coins compared to USDT, which was Tether, which we had a dude on about Tether about a month or so ago, talking about it, maybe 6 weeks ago. And then so it would seem that USDC, which works with Circle and with Coinbase, right? It's a great way to, on Coinbase, if I want to convert and send money to my bank account, convert it to USDC, send it to Coinbase. They give you no fees, and then you can send it to your bank account with no fees. They don't take that percentage like they usually do. And so seems like a good system. But if they're going to say that, hey, this is a security, how is it a security? Because you don't make money on USDC. I'm not making money. It's not an investment for me. It's like just kind of a store of wealth.
Fees that won't hurt your fees.
My fees are really hurt right now.
Yeah. So, and of course, it's not just about this. What happened basically is that Paxos has burned $700 million in BUSD because the government is saying, hey, this could be a security, and so it's not looking good, right? But meanwhile, you can, it's still pegged to $1. Like, I was thinking, wouldn't this screw up BUSD as far as being a stable coin? It's not. It's $bucks a buck.
Well, here's some of the things that keep in mind. So they said there's a lot of FUD. There's a tweet by Jason Yanowitz, and his address is in the show notes. But BNY Mellon is their custodian for USDC. BlackRock manages the reserves. Visa settles transactions in USDC. It's 100% backed by cash and Treasury T-bills. It's audited by Deloitte with annual audits filed with the SEC. Some people are thinking this FUD is overblown. Now, it seems to me that it's definitely interesting, if this has been sort of their goal all along, is to find a way to convert USDC into a central bank digital currency, to convert it, or to destroy the stablecoin markets in some way, right? I don't know what their end game is, but when you have Gary Gensler, who's at the SEC, who was working with Sam Bankman-Fried and that whole thing to come up with regulation, what is their angle? We don't know yet. We're still deciding it. And if you guys find out or see any information on that, make sure to email us or text us or whatever send us at badcryptopodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you're finding, because we're all trying to figure out what this means right now.
See something, say something, or email something. So Paxos is going to stop issuing BUSD. And now they're not the only ones that are issuing BUSD, which is why it can still trade and it's not completely collapsed. But I don't know that I would feel comfortable having any of my stable coins in something that could be so unstable.
Right. And it just gets created and it's made unstable by the powers that be. It's like when they start sniffing on something, here's one of the things that I've kind of noticed when it comes to when the government does something and when the media and government doesn't do something. It's like, for example, how we heard all about the balloons that were traveling over America, heard all about them. Heard all about these unidentified flying objects that were shot out of the sky. Didn't hear anything about the big train wreck that happened in Ohio with all of these massive chemical spill, one of the worst chemical spills in the history. And then they set it on fire, which is going to create all this other bad problems for the environment. And then when you see all the companies that are there in Ohio that use that water, like Budweiser and Nestle water and all this, like, it's not good. And they're not talking about it at all.
Nothing to see here.
All.
Nothing.
And to me, like, where's all of the protesters at? Where's the environmental protection people at? They're nowhere.
Look at the balloon. Look at the balloon. Look,
something's weird. Something's weird. They tell you what you want to know, not what you need to know.
You know how when you play with a cat, you got the little fish on a stick, the little toy, and you're like, here, come get it. Or you play with a laser pointer, go get it. That's how they treat people. And we, some to a larger degree than others, go, ooh, look at that. It's shiny.
Ooh, we the poople.
Going to go track that down. So what is the SEC's role in crypto regulation? And so there have been hearings. There's a big debate that's taking place over this. And the Senate Banking Committee had a hearing called The Crypto Crash, Why Financial System Safeguards Are Needed for Digital Assets. And they continue to call Gary Gensler to testify, saying, how come so much was allowed to go on? Why hasn't there been any real guidance to avoid the type of catastrophic, incidents that have been taking place? And I wonder what his answer is going to be.
It's interesting, but it's not the fact that crypto is corrupt. It's people are corrupt. And so anytime someone who is doing something bad for people who are trusting them, right? Like Sam Bankman fraud, when that guy got busted, he immediately got bail, and then he got bail from like the former dean of Stanford Law and this other dude, and they didn't come anywhere near $250 million. So it's almost like, wow, if they were set on going after people who are bad actors in the space, Sam Bankman fraud would be getting all kinds of heat. Instead, he gets released like 3 or 4 days before Christmas on a first-class flight. He goes back home. He's on the computer. He's still tweeting, right? Like, seriously, like, this guy should be behind bars. And it's almost like they want to do damage to the people who are trying to help build it and are investing in it and looking at it as their future, whereas the people who are actually doing the bad shit, they're not really hurting them so much. It's weird.
So the other issue that we're dealing with regulatory wise right now is staking. And Kraken has said, all right, we're going to pay $30 million. And if you're a U.S. Customer, you can no longer stake on our platform. Why? Because they're saying that you're deriving profits from the result of their staking product, and that could be a security. So that happened with Kraken. And now Coinbase. Brian Armstrong is saying that there's rumors out there that, the SEC may ban crypto staking completely for retail customers.
For American citizens, right? And so that just goes to show that more and more of this financial innovation is leaving America, going to other countries, while we slowly dive into this authoritarian thing where they can tell us what we can do with our money and what we can't do with our money. But by all means, go down to the casino and put all your money on red. Or going down there and put all your money when you go buy your case of cigarettes to go buy some lottery tickets, put all your money on that. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's almost like, how do we stop people from growing the middle class? How do we stop people from finding success? We want to kind of keep everyone down so that way they can come in and be the savior.
Right. So they can provide you with your universal basic income, and the people out there that don't know any better will be like, oh, yay, free money from the government. It's not free. You get to become a slave because they will then monitor everything you buy, everything you sell, and they will tell you need to spend this and consume each month in order to put money into the economy. And by the way, you can't spend it on this and you can't spend it on that. But and if you don't,
it will expire.
Your social credit score gets impacted.
Oh, wait a second. You just said something on your podcast with Joel Comm, Travis, and we didn't like what you said. And so we're going to dock you, $250 of your universal basic income for this month. You're getting really low to owing us. So shut your face. Right. And so, I mean, they just shut off Kanye West's bank account. You think they're not going to shut your bank account off? They will. So, remain a U.S. citizen at your own peril at this point is where everything's pointing at, in my mind.
So, we talked a little bit about the congressional hearing on crypto, and this one senator, Sherrod Brown, Democrat from Ohio, says if you watched the Super Bowl 2 nights ago, you didn't see a single ad for crypto. That is not correct. There was, if you count NFTs as crypto, there
Yep.
was a
Digital asset.
blockchain digital asset ad. So he is wrong about that. But then you've got these people like Senator Warren, who I'm sure knows so much. She knows as much about crypto as she knows about Native Americans.
Yeah.
One
Did she get some cash money from Sam Bankman fraud? Because I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that she did.
pretty sure she did. She's 1/10/24th Native American.
Yeah.
She said big time financial criminals love crypto. No, big time financial criminals love any means of financial instruments, including dirty fiat. There's a reason it's dirty. And they use cash on pallets all the time to not be tracked in
Cash on pallets and digital bits that they just send over, right? I mean, a lot of times, what they say, 90 some odd % of paper money is not even paper. It's digital bits on a screen that they just say, oh, we're transferring this to this, and now you have that. So, who uses more, $20 billion last year in illicit transactions? Well, how much was that in dollars? Which is another reason why they want to get rid of dollars and those fiat currencies, to turn it into a CBDC so they can track everything that you do, everything that you own, and then shut you down whenever they decide, because it's not going to be decentralized and it's not going to be encrypted. It's going to be just shut down whenever they decide. So keep an eye on that. Be careful and be diligent about that, because the more they regulate this stuff and they say, oh, anti-money laundering. Well, how about you look into the money laundering that you did with FTX through Ukraine and back into your foundations, into your campaign, contributions. Look at that. How about you look at maybe, senators and Congress people out there knowing what's going to happen and then investing in the stock market, or having their spouses invest in the stock market, earning millions of dollars. And then how is that? How's that?
No,
how's that not bad?
that doesn't happen. That never happens.
Right, you're right.
Only all the time, you conspiracy realist. Well, here's one good piece of news out of Capitol Hill. Ted Cruz thinks that, hey, here's a great way to teach the senators and congressmen and women about crypto. Let's put in vending machines there on Capitol Hill that they would use crypto to buy their snacks. So you want some Lay's potato chips, or you want some Oreos, you got to use your Bitcoin wallet. I love the idea. Let's get some vending machines in there and let these people see how crypto actually works, because so many of them are so out of touch.
Right. So imagine that, seeing politicians and lawmakers out there buying their snackums with some crypto supported vending machines. That's what they need. They still think that Facebook is the internet. So probably some of them still think that the AOL is the internet. It's probably not. It's not that, but that's what it is. And, there's another article here on Blockworks that says central bank think tanks warn against repressive crypto regulation. So the more that they think they're going to regulate, and this is it's sort of those, it's like you're walking the tightrope. You know what I mean? It's like you mess up, you're going to fall. Everyone's going to fall. The country's going to fall. And more and more power is going to go to some of these other countries that are a little more open with how they're going to regulate this. If they take away the power of the U.S. Investors to be able to invest in crypto, it could get bad. And so that's what they're warning, is they say, do not choke the industry and suppress these revolutionary ideas. Why? Because Silicon Valley of the future will not be in America if that's the case.
So Patricia Haas Cleveland is the U.S. president of the Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, otherwise known as UMFIF. And she said something that we've been saying on the show for 5.5 years now. The real story, and not about FTX in particular, is about crypto and blockchain. The real story in the wake of FTX is less about cryptocurrencies than advances in the underlying blockchain and other technologies. These are quietly creating transformational tools and applications that will help propel Web3 and reshape the financial industry. Quietly. Some of them, if you're paying attention, it's not quiet at all. If you're following the crypto and blockchain news regularly, you see everything is moving forward against the beast that is the government, that is attempting to regulate, overregulate, misregulate, control the industry. But the industry is moving forward daily, and regardless of the price, whether Bitcoin is $69,000 or $12,000, doesn't matter. Everything is moving forward, and it is going to transform and reshape the financial industry, and you can't stop it.
Yeah, let me share something with you on that note. I'm going to move an article up that wasn't even there before.
Yeah.
And actually what it is we're talking about the innovation of this. And so Jimmy Song, two-time guest of Bad Crypto and hater of NFTs, came on and he said the year of first contact, 1985 computer, 1994 internet, 2011 Bitcoin, 2023 Nostr, NOSTR, which is like the beginning of Nostradamus, which Joel and I call myself Nostradamus. Yeah, it's good. So what is Nostr? Nostr.com, Nostr.com is a simple open protocol that enables global, decentralized, and censorship-resistant social media. They're talking, people who are talking about Nostr, and when you got a Bitcoin maximalist like Jimmy talking about it, pretty interesting. So there's a whole bunch of information about this. They're using public key cryptography, and it's easy to identify, verify messages. However, you cannot censor it. There is no overlords who can shut down stuff. So I would say keep an eye on this. Social media really has a lot of flaws when it comes to all the gatekeepers. They're broken. They use our attention to sell ads, and they have all this other stuff to keep us addicted and keep our, it's just dopamine rolling, right? And so,
have you signed up for this yet? Have you done this yet?
I've checked into it. Yeah, I've looked into it. I have
It
not
looked
gotten my
like
account.
it was a little more complicated, so I haven't done it yet. But
It's not easy yet, but I mean, something like this is needed. It might not be Nostr. Jimmy Song seems to think that it is. He also says this: roses are red, violets are blue, fiat is fraud, and altcoins are too.
Well, I think we should let's find a Nostr specific pro, someone who really
Nostradamus.
understands this,
Sounds good.
and let's have him on the show and talk about this. I think you and I should get signed up for it. Let's test it and see if it really is all that, because I do see other people referencing it and talking about it. I just had not gotten
And
to
they're
it.
like, follow me at LGR2943HG94, like G
Right.
/ come on, that's okay.
Yeah, it seems complicated, and
Yeah.
and I don't like complicated. Final story for this week. You mentioned earlier about Sam Bankman fraud, and the two people, or at least two people, who co-signed his $250 million bail package have been released. One
And
of
it
them,
turned into about $250.
yeah,
Really?
one of them is a Stanford research scientist, Andreas Pepke. Pepke, and the other one is a former dean of Stanford Law, Larry Kramer. Now, I don't know what that means that these two have been involved with it, but we have a name here. We do know from this article and this pop-up that both of Sam's parents teach at Stanford.
Yeah. And this Zero Hedge article has a really interesting question. It says, how in the F did these Stanford faculty members get so rich as to guarantee the size of a bail of $250 million? Well, it turns out they didn't. They basically signed on sureties for separate bonds of $500K and $200K. So much for the $250 million when they basically spent $700,000 and the mortgage on their Sam Bankman fraud's parents' house, which was worth $4 million. And so it seems to me the dude should still be in jail, but he's got some big people protecting him somehow.
Indeed. And if we only knew the real truth. We try to uncover some of it here. We love talking about blockchain and crypto. We are more than 5.5 years into this show now. And Trav, why don't you talk?
Dude. Oh, man. So we are actually 5 years and 7 months right now. Today. That's when we had the idea 5 years, 7 months ago today.
You just debuted a new show with our friend Chris Snook while you were in New York City. Why don't you talk about that for a moment and let people know where they can watch it?
For sure. Yeah, we've launched a new thing called the Web3 Show and fintech.tv. Apparently, they got a pretty big reach in Southeast Asia. I'm of the belief that Southeast Asia is going to be a very, very huge market moving forward as Western civilization slowly tries to regulate crypto, and it's just going to move. And so preemptively, I'm looking at that. And, there's a lot of other stuff that's great around crypto. Digital asset. We're starting to do bad crypto, of course, once a week, twice a week, depending on crypto goes up, crypto goes down. and how much we want to knock out on that. We love doing the show. Joel and I have a lot of fun. But Joel's mostly retired now. He's chilling. He's
That's not
relaxing like
true.
a villain.
That's not true.
That's not true. But so thank you for that.
semi-retired.
Yeah, we are. We went to the New York Stock Exchange, and web3show.io is that. And if you want to see the premiere one, I made a bit.ly, bit.ly/web3premiere. We'll show you that first video. And I was really impressed with how the video production was on that thing. That's really good. Looks nice. We got some professional people doing shit over there.
Alrighty, thanks everybody for watching and or listening. We would appreciate if you went over to iTunes, looked us up, and gave us a 5-star review. We got a couple haters over there. Those haters gonna hate, and what we'd love is some of you supporters to go and say, "Hey, haters, you suck."
Yeah, it's like, what's up with that? Like, you know what I find is that most people, it's like if you're gonna leave a review for something, you only do it when you're mad. It's like if something was great, like you don't usually do it. You're like, all right, but if something angers you, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna do it. So hopefully, you don't just let the angry people leave messages, that you go in there and leave some reviews. Also, you're happy.
There you go. We'll catch you on the next episode. Until then, please do the thing, which is to stay back.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.